Can you guys hear me?
Yep, we can hear
Okay.
you.
Yep.
So this guy, this guy's a fish, and his ranges are really wide. And we have that note on him. Very high VPIP, wide range. He's also going to call 3 bets wide. You guys like the sizing against his ridiculous, well, his large RFI? Would you gone bigger with
Yeah.
the 3-bet?
No, I think it's perfect.
Right.
In position, size
Right.
down a bit. It's perfect.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you got that giant thing. You got the perfect flop.
Yeah.
Got a great flop. He checks. Now, this is where I think it's interesting. I think this flop's really good for us. I really want him to come along. And then he hits us with this. So that looks like it's a 6x check raise.
It is.
Yeah, it's probably
Yeah.
pocket deuces, pocket fours. I still rip it here though, myself.
Yeah, there's no point in calling if you're gonna call, just rip it.
I don't know. I kind of
Yeah.
like the call here.
Because
What? Yeah. I
Going
mean,
all the money's going in.
can you fold? I
Once you
mean,
call this, no, you're never folding. All the money's going in, unless
Yeah.
he's full of shit. You're telling him, you're telling him, I'm not full of shit when you raise him here. So
Mhm.
you're giving him a chance to play right if you raise him.
Yeah, if you're calling 100% of turns, then calling's just fine
We're
on flop.
never folding this hand on the turn of the river. I don't care what the run out is.
Okay, sure.
So it's just an exploit against him.
Yeah,
Most
that's fine.
of his range calls a jam.
I'm
but-
sold.
so yeah, he's pot committed, right? And I'm pot committed if I call. We're never folding.
But he might not be pot committed.
Yes, if
crazy.
if this is 10% bluffs, then there's no
Right.
reason to
Right.
jam.
He
Yeah, that makes sense.
Give him no chance to play right. And then the other way of putting it is this. Time down. Sit and think. Waste a time bank on this before you call.
Agreed. This is a
you're
very good
flop.
place to waste some time, right?
Represent pocket queens here.
Yeah, we want to look as shook as possible with our
Mhm.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're never folding.
That's my argument.
And he
That
is
makes sense.
always going to shove. Well, he's not always. So, the only question is, if he checks here, what are you guys doing?
I think you just rip it. Like, look at your SPR. It's less than 0.5.
Yeah, if you bet, you're ripping it. But the question is, do you wait for the river on that jack?
I don't think
I might
so.
do it now. On a real blank, I think maybe I would wait for the river, give him one more chance to bluff.
That makes sense.
So
It's
on this
not a
jack, you
blank.
would tend towards if he checks.
Yeah.
ripping.
Yeah, the jack, he's now got some hands that he can call of his bluffs. And when he's got the king jack, I don't care because I was gonna go broke anyway. I don't care the order I go broke. I'm gonna go broke.
It
But
also
he
just
made the
puts draws
choice
out there that
for
can
us.
complete too.
He jammed, and you're not going to believe his combo.
Oh, it probably will.
3-5.
Nice. I like it.
That's
That's the
3-bet with
exact
a
line
5-3.
I would have found with the 5-3.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have been there, but
Yeah, well, you
I
wouldn't have
love
gone
the
for
check
an opening
raise.
at 3-5. And
Yeah.
please tell me that he did not get his straight on the river.
He did not. No.
Good. All right.
Sorry.
too many outs.
Right. Now, so you see now, when you jam that flop over him, he probably doesn't fold with his straight flush draw. I gotcha. You get all his money. You got all his money anyway.
What
But-
stakes
Yeah.
was this game?
20 and out.
But given how bad,
Yeah, he
played-
folds.
given how badly he played this, I don't think he folds. If he does fold, that's a disaster. He has 3 outs to beat you.
Yeah.
If
He doesn't know that.
yeah, I know he doesn't know that, but I'm saying if he folds when he has 3 outs, that's a disaster for you.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. I got you.
Right.
I thought you meant disaster for him. My mistake.
No, that's a disaster for you. And so you give,
Misunderstood.
I don't think he's folding 3-5 here. But if he's playing 3-5 like this, he's probably playing 5-7 like this. And 5-7, he can fold more easily. Or let's say he has the 3-5 of clubs and not spades, and he decides to do this with his straight draw, and you jam over it. He might fold.
I would.
So that's my argument about no jam
On flop.
on flop.
Yeah, I can see it. That makes
I mean,
sense.
there's more of an argument for, if he checked for jamming here because he's gonna call with his lesser flush draws, he's gonna call with his straight draw.
Yeah,
But he-
I was gonna jam on this one.
Yeah, yeah, I like the jam here too. Alright, one more and I'll pass on the baton.
Sounds good.
Okay. So this is an interesting spot. So I'm putting this into my, 3-bet range.
Mhm.
At some frequency,
I like it.
and we get a good flop.
Yeah.
What are you guys doing here?
Betting,
I'm betting.
definitely betting.
So
Three
I'm
bet
betting,
sizing seemed a little small, but that's kind of a side point.
my 3-bet did?
No, he goes 2.5, you go 7.5, you go 7.7. Tiny bit, it's tiny bit bigger.
Yeah, I was thinking it was gonna be
Standard,
9.
standard is 3x, no, 9 over, if he bets 3, it's 9. Just a 3x is the standard in the solvers. If you
I go
to-
8 sometimes, King, but
1.5, 8.
then other coaches say don't go 8, go exactly 3, so I sometimes split the
Okay.
difference.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, fair enough. That's why I said it's kind of a side point. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
sorry.
Once you
Didn't
get
mean to-
really deep, then you can start increasing your 3-bet size, but that
Yeah.
doesn't apply here.
Yeah,
And when you're really short, you can make
Yeah.
it smaller. but-
Sorry, didn't mean to sidetrack on a side
no worries.
point.
So, yeah, he's a
Okay.
broken stack, so that also is something that Peter Clark, Kara Corner likes to point out. So
Not
we're
very.
probably playing with the recreational. So
Yeah.
do you have a preference in sizing here, guys?
Yeah, a third.
Yeah, I think because it's a 3-bet pot, you can continue with range at a smaller sizing.
Yeah,
So I
third-
might be, go ahead, sorry.
a third to a half, not bigger.
Yep.
I
I don't know,
agree.
I don't remember what I did. So, my argument for this bigger size is that, we can withstand a check raise,
Okay.
but
Mhm.
I think that, and I am really excited about folding out, ace X and king X, obviously.
Yep.
Uh,
You disincentivize a check raise here with your sizing, so that's good.
yeah, so,
I think there's an argument for the larger sizing.
yeah, I
Sure.
think this is good. Now, my mistake frankly is here. So,
Mm.
I saw this card and I'm thinking this card is, good for us, but I actually ran this in solver. And this card is a pure check with our
Okay.
combo. And so my error was saying, oh, this is an ace, we 3-bet. This ace is really good for us, we get to continue, but we don't.
Yeah,
No,
he's still
ma-
got all that ace X in his range.
Yeah, this is, my error is here. So,
Maybe.
so go ahead, Skate.
No. I was gonna. Maybe we continue if one of the cards clubs was a 10 and we have extra, outs and stuff.
Yeah. So this is an error. So, solver is gonna check back this combo and try to realize equity. This card is deceivingly not good for us. It's just as good for his 3-bet calling range. So then he shoves and we just don't have the odds to call.
Yeah.
So we gotta fold.
Hey, you had the discipline to find the fold there at least. A lot of players won't. It's like, oh, I got the draw. I've already put in this much. So
Larry, what
Good
did
for you
the
for finding it.
solver say about your flop sizing?
I don't recall. I mean, we
True.
can run it if you guys want, but I don't recall what it says.
Yeah,
But-
stick that one in. We'll go, because Mike, do you have a hand ready?
No, I don't.
Okay, then we'll do another Larry hand and then when your hands are ready, we'll do, let Larry put that in the solve.
okay, that's a good plan. Okay. Okay, I'll do another hand real quick. Oh, this is, what happened with this hand? He already gave away the ghost, but it's
Good
not.
things. Let's see.
I got a good one for review as well.
Alright, my last one, and then we'll pass it on to someone else. Oh, so this is an interesting hand, actually. Cause I was not sure if,
This
I
is
was
the
not
range.
sure, I was not sure if I was knitting on this. These boards are, this run out is a little intimidating for me. And I'm curious if you guys think that I missed value. So
I
I
think-
raise, this is a little wide, but I'm gonna do this against people who don't
No,
three
I
bet.
like it. I like it.
Yeah.
So
It's a-
if they're not three betting, I like RFIing this hand.
This is a
100%.
totally legitimate expansion.
And so, yeah, we get an interesting flop, open ender. He checks. I go big, which I think we're allowed to do on this board
Yeah.
at some frequency with some part of our range.
Yeah.
Check or bet large, I would
And
think.
he
And a check
calls.
raise.
So I don't remember what I did here. I think, well, I usually like to continue aggression, so I'm gonna continue aggression here. I don't know if that's good or not. I think it's good against people who, I think continuation of aggression is good against a big blind, which has a wide range, which has sixes and fours, which it's very hard to continue. They have 6-3 or whatever. And, so I continue aggression here, I think.
I like your size. I like the size up.
And
Yeah.
then this is where it gets interesting. So his range is filtered now, right?
Yes.
So we big bet, big bet. And he has called twice. And we get there. But tons of other stuff gets there. Right?
Mhm.
So Jack 8 gets there.
It's
Eight
only
gets,
8-5 that you're worried about,
eight
really,
gets
though.
there.
And
No.
any
Oh,
eight
my
is a
mistake.
better
That
straight.
any 8 is a straight. Yeah,
Yeah.
my bad. Read it
yeah,
wrong.
this is a check back.
So
You're,
that's what that's what I was trying to confirm with the group.
I'm checking.
No, it's fine.
No.
Betting would have been reckless in my mind.
That this
I-
isn't
I-
nitty AF.
I feel like, well, I don't know about online, but like, I don't know, like live, you think like people are really checking back straights here?
Well, in theory, after I bet big and bet big, he should have some
Absolutely.
checkbacks, traps, yes.
I think straight should mostly be checking back versus this line after.
I mean, I know if I've
the
got the
double
eight,
barrel.
Okay.
if I've got the eight there, I'm betting out because I just see I see the opponent having a world of checkbacks. I see him checking back. I see checking back sets.
Exactly.
Interesting.
you
So if
would-
I'm big,
I'm betting.
Go
out.
ahead, sorry.
no, I was just gonna say if I'm big blind, I see this this board that
You're gonna bet.
okay, so versus the double barrel on this board, I would expect a triple barrel a lot of the time. So I wouldn't expect a ton of checkbacks, to be honest.
So,
Yeah.
Scotty, you would choose to, lead on, if
Yeah,
you got an 8x, you would choose to lead on on river.
yeah. I have a problem. I use this node all the time and I play it the same way every time. And every time I play it, I go, I don't know if this is right. And that is when the 4 flush comes in and the 4 straight comes in and I've got it, I just go, they're checking back everything. I have to bet. Which
Well,
allows.
I overfold those spots, so maybe you are doing something right because that's going to work
What I'm
versus
saying
me.
is saying because I know that I do that, because I know that I do it 100% of the time, I also include bluffs. But I
Yeah.
don't any check calls there or check raise because I just think I'm getting too many checkbacks. I don't know if that is solver approved, and I don't know if that is population wise.
No, I think it is to a large degree because you're folding out more
Yeah.
studied players. They will be folding
Yeah,
against that line.
fold when I don't have it.
Yeah, maybe I guess like, better, like higher stakes, better players, you can find some checks, like into your game, but if you start checking back and it goes check, check, you're gonna miss value.
I just think that one of the things that is true of population is population does not bet thin for value on the river enough.
True.
I think, by the way, me also, I'm doing it
Yeah.
also with my own logic. Give me a set right there and I'm not betting it.
Yeah.
Quarter straight, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so,
yeah. Mhm.
so I just see a lot of checkbacks with value from them, and so it's what I expect to see.
Yeah.
Scotty, my only question is, if you have an 8x here and you choose to lead river, what sizing are you using?
But
Also, what are you targeting for calls specifically when you make that sizing?
my opponent.
Yeah, that's
Fair.
okay. Fair
you could
answer. fair
Because I'm
answer.
also bluffing.
Sure.
Because
Yeah.
because I'm also bluffing.
Okay. Okay. Fair enough.
That's why I'm doing it. Because if I chose a size where I go, what's a size that I'm gonna get called most of the time? I can't make that bet with my bluffs.
Yeah,
So that's
true,
why,
true,
Yeah.
true.
Okay.
The other question I have is, Scotty, if you had to ballpark it, what is your bluff to value in these situations? How often are you gonna bluff, like, let's say, queen jack, which is blocking a lot of 8x, versus how long are you going to donk value? What's your bluff to value ratio?
it's honestly, it's gotta be just complete mood. I mean,
I was
might,
gonna say on this
might-
board, it's probably like about a 50-50 seems about right.
yeah, so let's see. I'd like to not have spades. I'd like to have gotten here without spades to do it.
I think,
'Cause
I think the most obvious would
I think
be
I'd
like
block
a
heart and-
queen jack of hearts.
Yeah, I like queen jack of hearts here. That's really good. I could do it with a pair.
Yeah, Jack
I-
10 spades. Could find that.
Yeah, 10 I might not. 10 I might just hope for the check. Since I
It
think I'm
might be a
getting,
little strong. Okay, okay, fair
But-
enough. Sorry, it's your hand.
yeah,
A 9 or a 7 would be good, right?
ace five hearts.
Yeah, yeah,
It
sure.
doesn't really block the 8 though.
Yeah.
7-6 gets a little strong for it. So I don't have a ratio in mind.
Hmm.
I'm backing into what my ratio is. And I'm gonna say something that's a total cop out. And then I'll say it honestly. The cop out is, oh, it's player dependent. My ratio is player dependent, but the part of that is I am thinking a little bit about how I've seen the guy play. How
Yeah.
stationary is he? And I think that I'm more sensitive to my view of him, which I equate to my mood, than I am to my blockers, to my hand.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think table image, sometimes plays a factor in the way you play.
Yeah.
That makes
And
sense.
definitely,
Yeah.
definitely if it's someone who's proud of their laydowns.
All right, Cash. I'm gonna hand it back.
Anybody who's shown a big laydown, I'm more likely to do it.
Yeah, that's why I don't show
Yep.
my big folds ever.
All right, you got something, Larry? You got something, King? I think
I've got a
Whoever-
hand.
all right. You answered first.
Bear with me. Sharing. Here we go. Oh, wait, let me make sure that I don't have hands revealed. No, I don't. Okay, here we go. In the big blind, pretty deep. 7-4 suited. Hijack RFI, standard sizing. We get a call from the button, and I elect to call here. Is there
I
a
would pause
reason?
for a second here. I would consider folding this, and here's why, just to consider. 7-4 is a little cuspy,
Mhm,
and they are
sure.
short stacked. Their short stacks makes your implied odds go way down, and this is an implied odds hand. Now,
Yep, sure.
it's suited, you're in the big blind, you're getting good express pot odds and all that, but I would consider folding this. I wouldn't fold the 7-5.
Okay, sure. I can
So,
appreciate that.
okay.
So
Let me know.
RFI player, pretty readless. I do have reads on button that he's like a weak non-entity. He's just not raising. He's just a limper V-pipper. So
Yeah, but that's not the important thing. The important thing, it's not whether they play bad. Your opportunity with this hand goes way down.
oh no, I hear you. I'm just
Yeah,
saying
okay.
as a side
Oh,
note, my notes on
gotcha.
these players.
Okay, sounds good.
Readless and this guy's weak
That
and
sounds
fishy.
good.
So
Yeah.
but we flop trips the king on the board here. I pure check in my mind.
Good.
I don't
I agree
I'm
with a
not,
pure check there.
not
It's our
leading out.
regular three-way thing. Wonderful.
RFI player C bets. on the king high board, and we get a call from the button player here. Are you guys raising? Do you like calling?
I'm check raising now.
Okay,
And reason is, it may, like everything, it may be wrong, but my reason is this: if the button doesn't call, I could see just calling and giving him more rope. But when he
Yeah.
has a king, he's calling you. When he doesn't have a king, I don't think he's continuing after getting 2 calls. That's the problem. Is
okay,
I
okay.
see the turn going check, check, check here. A fair amount. Now, if you want to do the following weird thing, then it's just a call. Call and donk. But I don't want that turn to go nothing.
Okay,
Uh,
sure.
I think considering the stack depth and because of this only, I'm just gonna be pure calling here. If it was deeper, then I would consider.
That's a really
Agreed.
good point. That's a really good point, Skate. I don't need,
I want to get
pot's
both
gonna-
Yeah.
both their money.
pot's gonna be 13 already. So it's gonna be only a 2 SPR. So even with a check, 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 we can get
Yeah.
money in.
Against
Okay.
them.
That's a good point.
Yeah, and between their stacks and the fact that this is a rainbow board, I think it makes a call more preferable than
Yep.
a check raise,
All right.
personally.
Yeah, you found
So
it.
I call.
Right.
We got a rather, not total brick, but kind of a innocuous 5 of clubs, and yeah, RFI player checks, and
Oh,
now
that's
in
fabulous.
position fires the fat bet here.
Yeah,
Do
this
you see any reason to put them all in now, or are we just
No.
always smooth calling?
always smooth call. Let the other guy make a mistake.
Yeah,
Give him a
that's why we.
chance. Mistake.
Yeah, that's why we
Unlike
called the flop.
RFI guy folds,
Right.
and I called, and now this is actually kind of interesting here. Oh no, he just bets it out
I
here.
would have bet the river.
Would have let out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you blocked
because-
the straight too.
Because
Yeah.
he might check back a king there.
So I'm
Yeah.
just kind of looking at this. He's got 12 big blinds left and a 47 big blind pot. I'm like, he's firing it all in no matter what.
Right.
So I
Yeah.
figured just check.
Right.
I'm not going to lie. When I looked at this hand initially, I thought that he was a full stack, and I thought that I was just calling because that there was the straight on the board and he still had
Right.
8-7.
Huh.
So that would have made the hand a little bit more interesting. I think this is just a clear call.
Ye-
So my mistake. I thought there was a little
Right.
bit more interesting action in that hand.
But you let him
back
bluff.
from Ace 10. There's no
You-
way to get more money from Ace 10 than the way you played it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Fair enough. Yeah.
Right.
Sure.
But I'm gonna make 12 big blinds fewer than you. I'm gonna,
Always
Okay.
bet.
I'm gonna lose even more than that out because I'm either check raising the flop or betting the turn, which screws you from his Ace 10. So this was great.
Okay.
But-
If that board is wetter, if there's flush draws out there, I'm taking a more aggro line for sure.
Yeah.
But
No, this
I
is
figured
great.
this was a really easy spot to let them hang themselves, you know?
The one thing though, which for his particular hand, this would be a mistake. But after you call the 15, I think he has to be an idiot to try to bluff the river with 12. You're folding nothing.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Absolutely.
So if he's not an idiot, I think that he has a lot of hands that he is going to check back that have to call.
Okay.
His king
Right. Right.
should check back the river and doesn't, okay?
So there is a universe where he checks back with SPR of like 0.22 or whatever he's at then.
Right.
Or like
is-
0.2. Okay.
is give him the following set of hands here. He's got kings, he's got every king that he's going to play this way, whatever they are. And he's got his 5s, 6, 7, 5s is screws you, but he's got his 6, 7s, 8s over pairs, right?
Mhm. Yep.
I
Yep.
think all of them call your jam for 12. I think all of them check back at you, so you don't get his last 12.
Okay. Sure.
When he has a 4, you go broke anyway because his 4 is better than your 4.
Yeah. Which I'm not worried about. Like, really. Come on.
Right, you're gonna go broke, so you don't care about the
Yeah.
order. And that's why I think the bet on the river, and obviously I am excluding him having a bluff there that couldn't possibly win against your range. You have nothing
Sure.
you're gonna do here. But
Sure.
that's what he had. And so you exploited perfectly.
Okay.
All right.
Cool. Sweet.
Yep.
Yeah, and I mean, all of that being said, I wouldn't think many players are capable of folding rivers when they are sitting at like 1-4 SPR. You know what I mean? So I was expecting it to go in no matter what, like against most players there. I would expect them to pile it in.
Right, but you
Um,
said something interesting there. You said you don't expect them to fold, but that's not the same as you expecting them to bet. still
I didn't mean to say fold. I meant to
Okay,
say
fine. You don't expect, you
choose not-
expect them never to check.
Yeah,
Okay, great.
exactly.
Then in that case, then if you expect no checks there, then your check is perfect.
Do you see that? Do you see checks there in game with players sitting 12 big blinds in a 50 big blind pot? Because like that's
With a
I
king.
have to. I'm struggling to think of a spot where I've seen that.
He's got a king.
Okay.
He-
Yeah. Okay. Good point.
he has a
Really
king
good
with a
point.
bad kicker.
Yeah. And he flat calls some
Yeah.
kings pre. Okay. All right.
Right.
Perfect.
I mean,
I'm sold.
I don't think he does it with ace king. I think he bets his ace king, but I don't think he has ace king there.
No, absolutely not.
So,
Okay.
all right. And I think he does it with sevens. I think he
Sure.
checks sevens there.
Sure. Okay. Cool.
And he checks back weirdo deuces and weirdo threes.
Sure.
Okay. Mike, you got something?
I mean, I filtered for a bunch of those hands earlier in the day for those low jack big blind hands. I
Let's
have
take a
those
look.
kind of sitting aside.
Let's do them.
Want to check them out?
Yeah, we've learned all about this. We are ready.
Yeah, we can use our fresh knowledge.
Yes. And by the way, is that graph we're seeing your graph specifically for this spot? Is that how
Yeah,
graph-
so
the
it was
graph
the
also filter?
most recent 500 hands filtered for middle position with two players, a single raise pot.
Right. Okay, great.
Yeah.
All right. So we see a mistake already in this by him not three betting his aces.
Yeah, I don't really remember what these hands are, so
We raise, makes total sense. Oh, he does three bet. So there you go.
that's right.
You didn't filter for single raise, but who cares? Let's play the hand.
True. Yep, you're right. I did not filter for single raise pot.
Yeah. So he plays it right. And notice the size of his three bet, by the way. We
Premium
don't
discount.
Yeah.
The size is extremely small for a blind three bet.
exactly. And I don't think you can read anything into it the first time you see this sizing because you don't know what his sizes are. But once you
Mhm.
see that he has normal sizes and he goes to this size, I think you can read a lot of aces and kings.
Oh,
into
I'm
it.
making notes at that point.
So we're definitely not folding to that size.
Oh.
If he had made it the typical polarized blind sizing of 12, I probably would fold my sixes.
Stupid question, but there's no such thing as four betting with sixes there, right?
Oh.
No.
Oh, what do you do? What do
You
you
want-
do?
you want blockers.
3-bet, 4-bet 100%.
I think that against population and against solver and against poker theory, that's a bad four bet. You're taking an implied odds hand and turning it into a bluff.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Yeah,
I-
makes sense.
I mean, the one simple way to think about your four bet bluffs is you want to four bet bluff hands that block the three betters, aces and kings.
Yeah, blocker combos, and that's usually
So with
better out
ace
of position
king,
too.
You could do that, but not sixes.
Ace king
Yes.
is, yes.
Ace
Ace
king I'm
very
four betting
mergy
100% of
bet.
the time.
You can, if you're looking for that bluff, you've got ace five suited. You've got ace 10 suited.
So if you have
Perfect.
an
Ace five suited. Perfect. Perfect combo.
So if you have an ace, you can 4-bet bluff,
Yeah, yeah. You,
but not sixes.
no, your deuces, threes, fours, fives, sixes, sevens, eights, nines have, nines have no raises. They have some folds and a lot of calls. And by the way, the hand that calls the most out of that range of hands is sixes.
Yep. Absolutely makes sense.
'Cause it's
Nines,
the
eights,
highest.
sevens fold, fives, fours, threes, deuces fold, sixes almost never folds. Six
Okay.
folds less than jacks.
Makes sense.
Mm,
Makes
okay.
perfect sense.
I'm never folding jacks here.
Anyway.
No.
Oh,
Well, you would have made
Uh,
a set.
Yeah.
right.
Jacks equal aces. That's how I operate.
So he dunks. Oh, he three bet, sorry.
Oh, he
Oh,
threw
yeah.
that.
He C bets a half pot.
You
Which,
could
so
leave
I was
money
pretty
and
torn here.
you can fold
I-
now or
I-
fold the turn.
I think in theory, this is a call.
Yeah. I
Call
think so.
flop, fold
With-
turn.
With the diamond and the 6 with the 5 and the 7, I feel like
Yeah.
there's probably some merit to calling, which I did.
His ace king, ace queen, ace jack, ace tens. Well, ace jack's a pair, but
Yeah.
all the other ace X are going to be continuing at 100%. They should be, which you're ahead of. So call.
He checks.
That's an interesting choice.
Yeah. You know, what I should have done is I should
Yeah, you should.
I should have hidden that.
split that way.
So here you are. You know, I almost did consider betting here.
Slam
Yeah.
dunk chuck, in my opinion, but
Yeah, I mean, so the 5 is a bad card for he thinks is a bad card, but it's also a bad card for your nutted range because you only have
Yep.
now one combo of 5x. So,
he's got
And-
all the ace 5 suited as well that he
And
three
you
bets
can't
great.
have ace 5, and you can't have ace 5 suited here.
Absolutely.
Because the only ace 5 suited that you really wanted to continue with was the ace 5 of hearts.
that's a good point.
Slam
So,
dunk chuck.
Yeah, I would check back here.
Yeah, which I did.
Boom.
You are the greatest player who ever lived.
Yeah.
Only one size.
Okay. That's what I thought too.
Okay, well, I was just considering if you make it like a pot or like a 2.5x to get a
Mhm.
call. I
That-
think,
That was my
I think-
biggest question.
well, I think he has some combos that do call a 2x or a 2.5x that don't call a jam.
Name
just-
'em.
Well,
Name
Oh,
'em.
okay. Yeah, maybe I should have figured those out first. 7-5 suited, Jack
Okay,
7
7-5.
suited, Queen Jack.
Okay, let's go back, go back,
suited.
go back, go back, go back. 7-5 is a full house.
Okay, yeah, no, that's dumb. That's dumb. That's dumb. Okay,
And,
It doesn't
and then
fold.
it's not being 3-bet either.
Queen Jack diamonds.
You think he folds queen jack diamonds here?
He should.
yeah, I think, well, so the argument.
Okay, sorry. If you jam with your 6s, he should fold Queen Jack diamonds.
Okay,
If you make a 2x or a 2.5x, he should call Queen Jack
Okay,
diamonds.
that you
That's
have
my
a-
thinking.
you have identified a hand. You are right.
Okay,
I-
one
I'll
combo,
give you that
great.
one. I'll give you that one. Is he folding kings, queens, or aces? No, because you could have a jack.
Correct.
Okay, is he folding ace jack?
He could.
I think he's not. I think it's the queen jack. I think you're right about queen jack and 10 jack.
Okay.
When he doesn't know that his jack that his jack has a good kicker.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
So that's your breakdown there. And I think that there are so many more aces, kings, queens that can play this way, plus ace jack compared to the queen jack and the 10 jack that are suited.
And they'll be calling. That's what you're
I
saying
think
there.
they are. I think they
Okay.
do.
Oh, I
do.
think so too. I think
You
so
ready,
too.
Scotty?
Wow.
WP, sir.
Yep.
I wonder what he folded. Oh, do we have a
Aces.
replay?
You
Yeah,
folded
it's
ace?
aces.
Oh, that's right. We covered it up. Okay. dumb.
So yeah, I think it's a good play. I think that, we need to target the portion of his range that's gonna call. Now, not everybody's gonna find the discipline to fold aces there, especially when it goes check, check on river. So, check, check on turn. So
Mhm.
it's more profitable to target the players and the portion of the range that's gonna call the shove.
And then let's add one other thing, a non question. Which looks bluffier? Which looks like more of a mistake from you?
Yeah,
Three-
ripping it first.
Or-
Yeah.
I mean,
That's a
just
good
answer that question. I'm not, it's not a leading question,
No,
Because
it's
Scary,
very, very true.
but
It's just what common sense leads you to realizing that, right? So
great,
Okay.
good for him. Well played by him.
Oh, okay. There it is. Another look at this 3-bet. Okay.
Well, so not that we were ever considering folding, we're certain, like that.
No, I'm never calling
Queens
here
does a
either.
lot, Queens does a lot of calling here, surprisingly.
Versus this sizing, I know it's a thing calling 3-bets in cash games, but against not even, like, this is a click.
Right.
That's a
But look at-
call this deep.
No, but here's the thing. What is he clicking you with? Is he clicking you with weak 3-bets, or is he clicking you with the hands he?
Yeah, it's
So
usually
why-
nutted. It's usually nutted.
And you don't do well against nutted.
Correct.
Let's take a look at how often,
Just so goofy. Like just-
Queens is a full frequency call. It has a sliver of raises. So do you want to expand your sliver because of the small size? I need to know something about
okay.
what is his solve sizing been? Do we know anything about that?
Okay,
No.
sorry, you say Queens has a sliver here.
Queens has a sliver in solver land against a solver's 12. It never folds. It raises 4% of the time. Queens loves to call here.
So low jack versus big blind 3-bet. Queens is effectively never 3-betting at
Yes.
100 effective. That's absolutely insane to me, but okay, I will believe you.
And think about it this way. It's not a 3-bet, it's a 4-bet. So when you 4-bet and he folds out very little equity. He folds his bluffs to you. When he calls you, you're doing fine. And when he raises you, you can't fold queens, but you are miserable.
Yeah, no, for sure. I understand the theory behind it. It's just switching from tournaments to cash where Queens is like, there's never a universe where you're not 4-betting all in, 5-betting all in with
Yeah.
Queens.
Yeah,
Like
there's
there's
no-
flat calling with Queens is just so rare in tournaments. And just like to hear it
Yep.
at that frequency is very alarming to me.
It's
but-
also rare in practice in cash games.
Oh,
It's
okay.
solver. What I mean, I don't mean you shouldn't do it. I'm saying we didn't know this. None of
But
us did this without looking at the solve, right?
but still, if it's a 96% frequency in solver, that shouldn't be a rare frequency in
No.
game. It should kind of somewhat line up.
It-
So
yeah.
these numbers are very, very alarming in my mind.
Yeah, and I want to make myself clear what I mean by this, King, which is I think that against a standard size 3-bet from the big blind, we should be flatting queens here, not 4-betting. That we have learned that in population in our games. I think that is a better play now. I didn't
Okay.
know before. So
I will
that's-
say I do have that in my game now, whereas it
think-
never was in my game
Right.
before. So
I think that when I said it's rare, I think it is rare for our opponents to do that.
okay. All right.
Only because it was rare for me to do this, and I think everyone is like me. Now we get this weird thing of this tiny clickback one. So now I want to know something about his clickback range because it's so
Yeah.
crazy.
It could be a misclick too. Like
Also,
this is,
do you-
this is just hitting the raise button is what you're gonna get without
Right.
putting
But
any amount.
anything else?
And you can't see his stats in game at all here. You can't see that he's
Yeah, this-
40% VPIP.
This is
in
what we
game.
see. This is what we see.
Oh,
You know
against
this in game at the time.
4-bet,
This is at the time. Yep.
4-bet.
Okay. Okay.
So
Against a 40% VPIP. Now I just 4-bet him.
I like it.
Great. That's all I wanted.
any thoughts on sizing or
I mean, I'm looking at this and I'm trying to size for an all in on the turn. I'm looking at 2E sizing, so I'm likely to size up here.
You mean all in by the river? Oh, all in on the turn. All in
Yeah,
on the turn is huge. Yeah,
20,
Yeah.
20, like 20 big blinds, somewhere around there.
yeah,
Let's
yeah.
see.
That's kind of what I'm looking at.
Nice.
Yep. Get all
I don't know
in
if it's right, but that's what
I
I
like-
went for. So
I like it. Oh, this is you.
I got no problem. Yep. I don't, the 8 doesn't bother me at all.
leaves you
You're
perfect
going
SPR
2E.
1.0.
Yeah.
Okay,
Well-
the 8 bothers me from the big blind range.
Just jam.
Well, they're-
I'm not crazy about checking though either, so I think jamming is the play.
Hmm.
But
right, because the SPR.
he can
Yeah.
definitely show up with some 8x.
Yeah, he can.
7-6.
Can also have aces and kings. But he can also have 9s, 10s, and jacks easily. He can have
Mhm.
7 easily, given his play. You can have
Nines,
flop.
ten,
Yep.
jacks,
Yeah,
maybe even ace king that wants to see a turn and he's donk or whatever.
ace, king of dime, ace, 10 of them, sixes.
Wow.
Pair.
Wow. No, good call. Yeah, good call. You're right.
Yeah.
Bunch of nonsense like that.
Yeah.
Weaker than I thought he would show up with, but I mean, it happened. So there you go.
WP, sir.
And again, these were just filtered
Yeah.
today based on our low jack versus,
Right.
big blind.
Good.
Yeah, I like it.
I go
So,
4.5 there instead of 5, but so what?
So let me
Well,
ask you a
There
question
is a
here, guys.
poster.
On,
Yeah, no, I
for
go
the
4.5
ISO
against
size,
the poster instead of 5. That's all I'm saying.
There-
what size
there's
do
a
you use,
poster.
Scotty?
There's
Oh,
a
the
limper
poster.
and a poster.
Oh, I go 5.5. So your 5 is great. With kings. Shade going down a beat.
Go
Love
ahead,
it.
Larry.
Yeah, sorry. So when I'm getting these many flats behind, which will happen at some tables, is it, profitable to increase our ISO size?
I do size up just so I'm not letting extra people in to see a flop. I don't know if it's plus EV or not, but
So some tables, especially on the weekend, some tables with lots of recreationals just don't care what your ISO. Well, let me put it this way. They don't react to your 5x RFI by folding a larger portion of their range. They just flat behind with what they're planning on playing anyway.
yeah,
I
true.
wonder at what point do we say it's more profitable for me to go to a larger RFI, maybe something as dramatic as 8,
Mhm.
when it'll result in a hand going heads up more.
Yeah, perfect.
I do that in game, absolutely. That's something I do in game for
I have
sure.
a
And it's
question.
usually to deny
Yeah.
these
I have a
wide
question
beta
for you.
players from realizing it. Yeah.
I have a question for you, Larry. In addition to them being insensitive to the size, do you believe that they are also not observant about a ratio of a correlation of size to the value of your hand? Do you
Yeah.
believe them?
Yeah, that's a good question. I do not know. I do
Okay.
not know. I mean, so the one example that I'll give is squeezes I've found to be highly successful.
Hmm.
Because when we go to the GTO Wizard recommended size of 14.5, we generate a lot of folds, and it's a very large, obviously it's a very large out of position 3 squeeze,
Hmm.
larger than what most recreational non-studied are going to use. And so in that situation, yes. So I would argue that in this situation, probably you're going to have a similar reaction.
Okay, so if you believe that you can safely split your range, then I think it's a good idea to split your range.
Split your range into top
Large
of
size,
range,
a normal,
large ISO.
yep, a large ISO, a regular ISO and a large ISO.
So
Um,
question for you, Scotty, you just mentioned, you ask if these average players are considering your hand strength as it correlates to your RFI sizing or your raise sizing. And that's actually something I'm kind of stumped on. Does the average fishy weak player, do they think that you're betting larger with stronger combos and betting smaller and limping with weaker combos? Or do they have it? Are they conscious of this at all? Because I'm kind of lost on this
I don't know.
aspect.
I completely don't know the answer to that.
Okay. Because
But I
we
know-
study and they don't, I
Right.
guess.
But I know that that Larry has introduced one bit of information here, which is he said that they were insensitive to his ISO size.
Okay.
And so now we just don't have a blank fish out there. We have insensitive to ISO size.
Yeah. So they probably don't read into it very much then.
Leads me to
So
expect that they are also not reading anything into ISO size.
yeah. Okay. So that kind of makes me, or that kind of answers my question. I would say no.
If that is the case, then I think you have this wonderful exploit of splitting your ISO size. If you don't have that, then it's to where you have to choose your ISO size based on something else. then I want to take 1 second to talk about the exploit that, that Brad,
Wilson.
no, not Brad Wilson, that that Bart Hansen
Oh.
talks about, which was, and I believe it was Bart Hansen who said this, which was find a size not correlated to your hand strength, but correlated to the table's response of what is the size that tends to get you heads up. Because
Okay.
poker, because no limit hold'em is played by skilled players better heads up than it is played by skilled players in multi-way pots.
Yep. Yep.
Multi-way pots is the table game version of it, and heads up is the skill version of it.
Yep.
Simplifying here.
That
And-
also kind of reminds me of something that Charlie Carroll says, like in relation to, he says you can do that with RFI sizing as well. Like when you get to a table that's weak enough, you can open 8 big blinds RFI with aces, kings. You can open 2 big blinds with your queen 10 suited. Like you
Yes,
can.
but that's a different thing. That's a different thing, King. That's the first one. If you
Sure.
believe your players are reading nothing into your size, then you can split your range very effectively, including your
Sure.
RFI range and your ISO range.
Yeah, that's what it reminded me of.
Yes, that's absolutely true. But we're talking about something different now. Now we're talking about the table where we're not assuming that they read nothing into your sizes. We're just saying you do this with RFA, ISO, and 3-bet sizes, which is
Okay.
what is the size that gets you the result of heads up most of the time. And
Yeah,
if this is
okay.
a table where 7x open, where 3x opens and 2.5x opens are all multi-way, and
Yep.
6 and 7x opens are all heads up, then maybe you make your standard size bigger. Jonathan Little is going to argue against that on the simple answer that he says, bad players open to 6 and 7. Why are you modeling your strategy after bad players? Good players don't do this. And Bart, if it was,
Sure, but GTO lines are also not the most profitable lines when
Right.
there's a bunch
Yeah.
of mistakes in
Right.
the decision
Yeah.
tree.
right. But Jonathan's point is not that 2.5 and 3 are just GTO sizes. He thinks those are good sizes.
Well, yeah, sure.
Sizes made by good players. So with that in mind, if that was the answer to that first question of they seem to be insensitive. Maybe if you think they're insensitive to your correlation, split your range and really exploit. If they're
Yeah.
not, maybe consider going to a size that gets it heads up. And if that doesn't work, then change your 3-bet range to the range that wants to play for more money multi-way. And take
Yeah.
out
That makes
that-
sense too.
take out, the bluffs that require that need you to get all the immediate folds that you're not getting. Take out a lot of 3-bet bluffs. Those would be the adjustments that I can see.
I think all of that makes a great argument for sizing up in those types of spots too, then.
Okay.
So
So this, I think your 5 is perfect, Mike.
And with all that said, this was like the third hand at the table, so there was no indication of what was happening at this table. And this is obviously very, very rare. You don't get an ISO like this and then get 4 callers very
I
often.
see it pretty often. That's what I was saying. If you size up
3
a bit,
callers.
that
Okay.
gets down to 1
Yep.
and 2.
Okay,
Yeah.
so here we go.
I was at the
You got a
table
great hand.
on
You're
the
screwed.
weekend where there were like 9 players regularly to the flop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. All right. You're screwed.
Okay,
Yeah, I like check.
Great.
so far so good, right?
That's a good.
I'm
Maybe
betting
we can club.
personally, but I still
King,
like a bet.
You bet here, King?
Yeah, bet small, 25%.
This multi-way, probably not.
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised if it's not in solver, but
Check 100%.
that'll get it down to a heads up pot.
Now
We'll
it's
take
getting
it down
interesting.
sometimes,
Yeah. Now we
and then
could
you'll be on
face-
this turn heads up with high equity.
So
now this
yeah,
spot
you got to
sucks.
call here.
I cannot disagree more.
Somebody could have ace 10 suited, but
Yeah.
ace 10 diamond, ace 10
Yes.
spades. That's pretty much it.
God, I hate these spots.
You have
Paired board.
no clean outs. But your outs are pretty good.
Yeah, I don't think you get the folder,
Yeah.
especially
I
playing
don't
in
think you fold.
position.
No, I don't
Yeah.
think you fold.
You're playing 10 into 50.
It sucks. It's just like, okay,
Pot odds
seven
20%.
out of 10
20%.
times you call, and it's going to be the 5 of diamonds on the river, and then you're facing some fat bet.
Yeah, but you're
Buddy
full,
calls,
you're,
and
you're
yeah,
not
then-
calling, you're not calling anything that isn't a king or a club on the river. You're
Yeah.
No, correct. That makes me want to take a more aggro line on this node, but I realize I can't when it's multi-way here, and it just it sucks. Sucks.
Yep.
So
Yep.
you need, you only have to see one more card. You need 20%. You have got more than 20%. You've got your 9 clubs possible. There, some of them are out there. They can have a club flush already, but you're beat it. And you do have your king. That's the thing, is you also have your king as the nuts.
Yeah, you
Does
have
that
2
say we're
additional outs. Good point. Especially on a paired board. That's a very good point.
Is this poker tracker saying that we're 52% equity versus these 2 ranges, or versus these 3 ranges? Because that seems high.
You know, it knows their cards.
Okay.
Yeah, because you are not 52%.
Okay. Okay. I was gonna say.
Yeah, I think you have to call. And you
Yeah.
have to fold all rivers, and that's terrible.
I don't know.
Let's see. All right.
I
going up.
appreciate the discipline. Oh, that sucks. After that
Yeah.
fold, that really sucks.
Give us the reveal.
Now you
Goes with the
raise.
blocker,
You're in position now. You raise,
the
and
queen tens.
and they
But you
call-
see, okay, I really do like the discipline on that fold. I mean, I wasn't really arguing for a fold, but that kind of goes to what I'm saying. You're just like, you're calling this turn, and then on a brick river versus
Okay.
aggression, you're just folding it out.
right, but
Interesting
king.
to run this in equal
King,
out, but
I
you've
know you
got- I
can't-
think you have the odds to call here.
Oh yeah, you do for sure. I'm not arguing the fold turn, but it's just like you have to know that the spot sucks. That's all I'm saying.
With the hands revealed now, you can see I had
Yeah.
23% and the odds were 20. So it would have been a correct call. But man, I just did not see that. I was looking at somebody having this, and ace. I just
No.
thought I was way behind, but I knew I had those outs and I just did not figure it out correctly.
Well, yeah,
Right.
we've all done it.
Well,
Well,
you're gonna have to fold more rivers than you'll be calling rivers. So I mean, I know it's too nitty, but still, I appreciate the discipline, and I think
Well,
there's something to be said for that.
I think Scotty made a good point, which is something I miss, is that on this paired board, your 2 king outs are extremely valuable.
Yeah, true.
And you know, I think that's something I miss, and which, you know, he brought up, and I think is an important thing for us to keep in mind here.
Okay, so let me argue about why I'm wrong, why it's a fold now. Which is now imagine, let's, so I just did it with 47 other cards in the deck. We have 9 clubs that are pretty clean, and we've got, you know, the kings that are super clean. They don't have, you know, we win against ace 10 and they don't have pocket aces. But
Mhm.
now let's think about their hand ranges and how they block our outs.
Yeah, that's where I was going.
One of these guys can have 4 or 5 of clubs. Those are 2 of our outs gone.
Mhm.
Okay. One of the guys can have queen 10 with the queen of clubs. That's another out gone.
Well, that's kind of how I meant. Like
You
you're
have a
gonna
really
be
good point
folding,
about card removal.
folding on so many rivers. That's just going to be a function of
but that's
cards
different.
that are out there.
Yeah, but that's different, King. You see, I'm not considering calling the river bet.
Okay.
This is king. The king is a draw here.
Yeah. But okay, so like I'm thinking ahead to this river. I'm trying to avoid these lines where it's like, oh, I'm on a draw, call river. Oh, my draw missed, fold. Like that seems like such a bad way to play in my mind. And
It's one of the unpleasant laws of poker is that you lose most of the time, but if you're getting the pot odds, you call.
And also when you're talking about multi-way is different. You're not you're doing very little bluffing against this amount of strength that they're showing.
okay, sure.
So the bluff, yeah.
I
So
mean,
you-
I am calling turn here with this pocket kings with the king of clubs, but I know that the spot sucks and I know I'm losing this hand more often than I'm winning it as I'm making that call. I'm thinking ahead that far and it's like,
But,
it
but,
sucks,
but let's say you lose this hand 25 let's say you lose this hand 75% of the time. And you only win 25%. So
It's-
3 out of 4 times you lose. That's
Yeah.
still profitable. That's a
it's still
lot.
profitable with this 10, calling the 10 into the, okay,
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah,
sure.
you,
Should we introduce the
It-
concept of
It
implied
must
odds
be
here as
kind of
well?
cuspy
Yes.
though, right? It must be
Implied-
close.
it's close. It's close when you can, it's close when you consider card removal.
Okay,
Without card removal, it is not close.
okay. I think we're all on the same page. We're arguing the theory of it, which is
Yeah.
healthy.
Yeah, the other important aspect to interject here is that implied odds are big here, and mostly it's because you are in position to the 2 aggressors.
Mhm.
So that is going to allow you to fully realize your equity.
Sure.
If you hit.
Do
So,
you
I mean,
get-
implied odds aren't, to tournament players, implied odds aren't as important because they're playing at shallower stacks usually. But implied odds become much more important in cash.
Sure. Sure.
and this size on the turn, which by the way, is not DTO approved. Or is
No, it
it?
doesn't-
Or check.
Doesn't seem
No.
like it is.
No, it was only with a check. It was only when it would check raised. It was only when the SPR was really big that they gave us the half pot, right? Yeah.
Okay.
So this
Okay.
non-approved DTO size also helps us because this is not 20.
Sure.
That
Yeah, I mean,
queen-
if we put this in solver, I would imagine
Yeah.
we're calling even a bigger size. I mean, we
Yeah.
can't put it in solver, it's multi-way, but
This first queen 10 bets 20, the second queen 10 bets 20. This is not near as attractive for us.
yeah.
But now we're getting the express odds. We're getting the pot odds to call.
Yeah, we're getting direct odds, express odds here.
Yeah. I mean, when does that happen in poker, in no limit poker?
Versus these 2 hands. I also thought this board was really shitty in terms of we could already be voted up and our clubs are no good. Like
Oh,
they
yeah.
could be voted up. Our clubs are no good.
I mean,
Yes.
maybe it's just me, but I don't really put a lot of faith into nut flush draws when the board is already paired, like especially when they've got the trips and the trips and full house combos.
I
Right.
mean,
I am much less excited to be
you
drawn.
certainly have to
to
be
the nut
aware of it,
flush.
but you just don't want to go so far into the land of PTSD monsters under the bed. You
Yeah,
you
okay,
really need
fair
to find a
point.
balance. You
Yeah.
really need to
So
find a
let's-
balance.
So let's
Sure.
look at their logical boats here. Aces are not logical.
Nope.
It doesn't mean they don't have it at any frequency, but we will discount their aces.
Okay, but never mind about the boat. Like the boats aren't like any ace-x you're losing to right
No,
now.
ace-x-
Any 10x you're losing to right now.
King. I'm gonna go back and say the thing I said before. You're on a draw. We're not calling the river. I mean, maybe we're calling 4 on the river. I mean, I might be full of shit about that, but we're not calling
Yeah.
any normal size bet on the
Okay.
river.
Okay, sorry, but I'm
Well,
just saying we don't know the river yet. We're sitting here on this turn. We're looking at this queen 10, or sorry, we're looking at small
me give you-
blind or big blind,
let me give
whatever
you a
betting. We're
let me
looking at
give you
this
a different
call.
hand. Let me
We are
give you-
behind all ace-x. We're behind all 10x.
Let me give you a different hand here. I'm going to give you 8 jack of clubs. I'm going to give you an up and down straight flush draw. Are you considering calling with an up and down straight flush draw?
Jack 8 clubs. I
Yes.
have Jack 8 clubs here.
Jack 8 clubs. I don't care how you got here. Are you considering a call with Jack 8 clubs or Jack 9 or Jack Queen clubs?
I'm
Are you-
probably jamming with Jack 8 clubs.
but you're not folding it. All right.
Absolutely not. I fold
You
this
know you're
king
behind.
before the Jack
But you
8.
know you're behind an ace, right? You know you're behind a 10, right? Yes.
Ye- Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, do you really want to jam into 2 players?
Can
Your-
Jack 8 clubs not realize equity better than this king with the king of clubs though?
He's got,
Has
yeah,
more
Jack
equity,
8 clubs. Jack 8 clubs. if
That's
you-
why I
if you're straight
prefer
out
to
for-
jam.
If you're
rather
straight out
than-
for good, you've got it, but not much better. You've got 12, you've got 11
Like
outs.
30% thing.
Yeah, you've got 11 outs with your kings probably, except for the
Okay.
card removal problem. And the card removal problem also hurts Jack 8 clubs. Jack 8 clubs is also not drawing to the nuts when it hits its club, only when it hits its straight flush clubs. And
True.
it's not drawing to the nuts when it hits its straight.
Yep.
Kings are drawing to the nuts when it hits its kings.
I
not
can never
against
think
me.
of drawing to the nuts on a paired board. I can't.
All right, yeah, good enough. You've made your point. I've made my point.
Okay.
Let's move. Yeah, I do not need to convince you. You do not need to convince me. We just need to be clear about our reasons so we understand each other. And
Okay.
I-
Understood. Understood. I
Good.
see where you're coming from. I do.
Great. All right. And now here's one question on that river. Oh, they get 24 in. Okay. They do just jam. I thought it's, yeah, the 4.38. Would you call that 4.38 ever? That I thought I saw there. What
With-
was the 4.38 that I saw? Doesn't matter.
I thought I saw that too. A blocker bet.
Yeah.
That was on the turn, yeah. that was the
Okay,
turn.
great. Well, the term was 10.
Oh, wait, yeah,
I
where,
swear I saw a 10%
I think the
bet.
10, I think the first 10 queen bets 4.38.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
blockers and then the other guy jams. Yeah.
No, the other guy calls.
Oh, interesting.
There's no reason. So here's my question now. On this action, when you don't hit your king on the river, do you ever call and you called the turn with your draw, and then they bet 4 into 40 and neither raises. Do you ever call your kings here?
I think you do. I mean, it sucks. You're losing more often than not, but you're just getting too good of a price. You just have too much equity to fold. No?
Yeah.
Am I
I
wrong?
think well, my argument is that we're never calling the kings on the river, but to 4.38,
Oh, I am versus the 4.38. 10%
think-
pot? Absolutely.
I'm probably folding and thinking that it's an ace afraid, that one of them's an ace afraid of the clubs.
I mean, pot odds are pot odds
Okay.
become really strange when it's multi-way, right? I mean, obviously you get to square roots of MDF and
Yeah, you don't have any-
Probably. And you know what? I'm not factoring that in here. So maybe I'm spewing.
I don't know.
it gets,
mean-
yeah, I mean, you get out your scientific calculator and figure out MDF and it's pretty small.
Well, I've looked at this in Flopzilla pretty extensively, but like the equity is run so close, and it's just like trying to extrapolate that when they're running so close, when there's equity shifts. And
On this
whatnot, it's
texture, I mean,
quite difficult off the top of your head.
I'd probably throw in a call, but I know I'm gonna lose 95% of the time.
Yeah, that's where I was at. Like you're losing 9 out of 10 times, but like,
You're getting 10 to 1.
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
I think we're losing more than 9 out of
Pot
10.
odds are less than that. They're like,
I think
like
we're,
6%.
yeah, I think we're losing more than 9 out of 10.
Yeah, you're probably right.
No, look,
94
when
out
he
of
calls-
100, 95
look
out
at
of
when he
100.
calls, the pot odds go up. Watch, take the call. He puts in 4 more big blinds. Oh, but we don't have it because of the fold. Yeah, add those 4 big blinds and it brings us up to the 10 to 1. All right, moving on.
yeah.
And by the way, Mike, after all of that, I think with a card removal argument, it's not, the fold becomes better and better. And I think the card removal argument, although it didn't apply to their particular hands, applies.
Right, yeah, the card removal argument and the reverse implied odds argument. I'm trying to justify.
And I don't see the reverse implied odds argument. I don't see their high percentage of boats there. But
'Cause I
also,
thought their range is gonna have 9s, 10s, a lot of
gonna
10, an
it's
ace,
gonna have those there. Yeah.
of the ace 10, I mean, but yeah,
Yeah, the ace 10 is there.
got it. They've definitely, they're in range to have boats there for sure.
And the card removal argument should have been different because their queen 10s should have been suited there. They shouldn't have been calling with the queen 10 offsuit.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
But they did. So that's what we need to factor in how they actually play, not how they should play. All right.
Yeah.
So you raise, get called.
Yep, this is hijack, not low jack, so poker
Also-
tracker only allows you to like select middle position, so
That's
it
fine.
filtered for
Right.
whatever they consider middle position.
Right. Okay, good.
Okay?
Yeah, that's, yeah.
Bet big, mostly. And I mean, you're allowed to bet big here. That's what I meant to say.
Yep. Half pot?
Sure, that's halfway between small and big.
Okay.
Yeah, it's big enough to me.
Yeah.
Good.
Good enough, right?
I mean, I go like 1.8. I go closer to a third, but
Your third is your small bet. That
Yeah.
board allowed bigger bets.
I'm trying to find more of those big bets on boards
what-
that are
that's
like
what we're
very
calling it.
favorable for me.
That's what we're calling out. I like a bet here.
Okay,
A small
Good.
bet.
Yep, I like it. Beautiful.
good, standard,
I-
right?
Yep. I think so.
Okay, there was a poster.
So you push up a little bit. Good.
Perfect.
Start by thinking check.
I mean, I know what I'm doing here, but
I start by thinking check here. And then I go to and then I move from that and go, do I want to turn bottom pair into a bluff here ever? And then if I do, I go, does that count for second pair? Because it's the same thing. And now the flush draw goes with it. And so I decide to bet it. That's my thought here.
I mean, I'm just looking king high board. I'm holding 2 diamonds, 2 diamond board. I have a ton of equity. I'm best range
Oh yeah,
advantage.
let's just decide.
I'm
Is this a check? Is this,
I'm betting. I'm betting a third all day long.
right? Is this just a range bet board? King
I
three-
think it is. Oh well,
No,
maybe
no.
not. Maybe not. Maybe not.
No, I don't want to range bet this board.
Yeah, you're right.
So I'm gonna
First
just,
reflex was to say yes. I think it's a majority bet, like strong majority bet.
Yeah.
There might be 20% checks in there.
Now, this is relatively similar here.
oh no,
What the hell happened?
We
What
didn't see
happened?
This is the previous hand, remember?
Oh, right. Yes,
Oh,
So this is pretty darn close to the kind of board that we're seeing, right?
oh yeah, you're right. You're right.
it's the same board.
Yep. King 3-2 suited. King 4-3. Other one suited. Yeah.
Oh, you know something?
High low suited.
Here's why I want to bet this. I'm moving this into the bet category. Because of the poster, because your raise was larger than normal, I think that pushes out more of his low cards that interact with this board that you don't have. I think you just pushed him towards the middle. So now he does not hit this board as much. And so your ace four gets something from a bet. So I like the bet there now.
That makes sense. What do you expect him to be calling that when you raise the post, like a lot of like queen 10, queen jack sort of stuff, or
I just
queen
mean,
X,
I
jack
think his range-
tens?
No, I think I take his normal big blind range and drop out, some
Oh,
of the-
he's big. I'm so stupid. I'm sorry. I thought he was under the gun. I'm an idiot.
No. Yeah, he's the big blind. He has a normal big blind range. Filter out a little bit of the bottom.
Yeah,
He
my
folds
bad.
because of the additional size. But
Sorry, I
And then
mixed up
look at the board.
position.
Yep.
right now,
Yeah, that felt like that was a pretty standard kind of almost a range check. I know king low low is going to start getting a few more checks, kind of like ace low low starts getting you a few more checks type of thing. But yeah,
Yeah, I still think you're betting like 80%.
I love that he folded,
yeah, he should be calling there.
but I love it. This is great. He folded a ton of equity.
Yep.
All right, we're gonna call from the small blind, which let me ask you this. I typically don't give unknowns or population credit for like a good GTO calling range in the small blind until they prove otherwise. Like I pretty much just kind of think they often play their small blind just like they play their big blind.
Yeah, agreed. That's what
Like a
Jeremiah
closer
Williams says
range.
to do as well.
I agree, but those calls that they do have, I think, are extremely heavily weighted towards 10x and jack X.
So you don't give them a big blind range. You give them a filtered big blind range.
Yeah, I guess you could say that.
All right,
I
fair
guess.
enough. He donks.
Oh. Half pot.
Just fold.
Well, no, sorry. I guess they do. They still do have big blind range, but okay. Sorry, I'm getting into the weeds. We can move on.
Yeah, so I subscribe to Brad Wilson's Nuffle strategy here.
Mhm.
If you guys know, and we kind of talked about this yesterday about when you get donks like this, and in the past there was always a big push to just you just re-raise 100% of your range here, and it's very effective, and that's kind of moved away. Anyway, my point is Brad Wilson, his Nuffle, which stands for neutralize flop leads.
Okay.
And I know that I play his strategy here, and I'm certain I do this here. I'm certain I do it. So I would call. But do you think the call in a vacuum is okay?
Well,
Oh, I'm
define the-
calling all day
Other
long,
than the 9.
all day
define the
long.
knuckle strategy for us, for me and for everybody else.
Oh,
I thought you were
it's-
going to
so
argue
it-
to raise.
So the knuckle strategy, at least on the flop here, is to call your draws and no made hands is you are calling 100% of your range.
Just call
And then you
everything.
make later.
Okay,
But
Well-
so this would be a call in his strategy 100%.
okay.
Yeah, like I'm looking at this, I'm looking at a sizing and it's just ace 9 suited clearly falls within MDF. It's clearly a flop that you call in my mind, just in terms of minimum defense frequency.
Yeah, and that was my question, is that would you call here anyway? And
Yes,
Scotty
I would.
fold camp.
No,
So
I call.
I like a call for one reason. I think that, I have to look at a Nuffle a little more, but the other thing that happens here is that, clearly a fish, this is not a dunk board. I think that there is somewhat a level of transparency as to their hand strength in how their betting pattern is. Which
They're-
when you're in position, you can exploit, right? So he bet half on flop. Let's see where he goes on turn.
He bet less than half. He bet 2.38, right?
Yeah, so
Also,
this
I
is,
think the paired board is key here. Like I was trained very heavily to check raise and donk on paired boards, especially low and middling paired boards, especially from like big blind. So I keep that in mind. And if I'm big blind, I'm going to be making that bet at a pretty large frequency, regardless of what I'm actually holding. So I
So,
think ace
yeah.
9 is good to call extra wide there.
Yeah, people may have that. We believe that the GTO strategy does not include lots of donking on paired boards, and certainly not lots of donking on high paired boards, 10s and above. If it's got any donking, and I don't think it does, it's going to be on 3s and 4s and 5s.
Isn't it going to be somewhat in line with the check raise frequency though? The donk
We're gonna
frequency?
look. We're gonna look in the ag report. We're gonna look
Okay.
back. At the report
I
at
think
this.
it is. I think it does line up.
Right. So
Yeah, and it was a half pot bet.
Yeah.
They take the rake out.
Oh,
for
yeah,
some
yeah.
reason,
Okay,
but
so
he
half
bet
pot.
3. Yeah, he bet 3 even.
So Nuffle says call. I'm fine with that.
Now, yeah, so here's where I think I deviated from the Nuffle strategy. Possibly because I wasn't sure, because it's just in memory. And this would get a 70%, this would get a raise. Like I would raise this hand according to the Nuffle strategy. But I think I deviated because it's such a good board.
Yeah, it is. You have ton of equity here. And there's this, I mean, I might be alone in this camp, but this 50% sizing is very much a sizing tell for me. 50% to the chip is 7 or 8 out of 10 times going to be a bluff in all of the database stats that I've looked at. So I'm much more inclined to call. I'm even inclined
really?
to call. Oh yeah,
so
absolutely.
50%,
50% is a sizing tell for me. I've operated like that for years and it's served me well. And I have
oh,
database
I never
stats to
heard
back
of
that up.
this.
Yeah.
Cool.
Online for sure. No question.
And so here you can see facing a turn 50% bet, you get to this node right here. And air, which they consider no pair, no draw, is a raise. So draws, that's where I was kind of confused because I don't remember what you're doing with draws.
So I've
So-
never seen this Nuffle.
Yeah, I don't see how you
Novel
extrapolate
thing.
like frequencies out of this here.
You don't, I don't, yeah, it's if you subscribe to his
Can you put that up again?
program, or
I just want to
even
grab
to
it.
his newsletter, he'll send that to you. And it's
Yeah, we
watermarked. It's watermarked, so I don't want to just put it in chat for you guys because it's
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
something
we-
that, yeah.
But if you
Okay.
but it looks like Derek, it looks like you can get it for free just by subscribing to his newsletter. Or no, his newsletter costs money.
no, it's
No,
free. You can get it for free.
Yeah, I thought
Yeah.
it was free.
Yeah, get it for free. Get on there. We will advertise a competitor to poker coaching because we're all working together, don't you think? Yeah. So that's
And Brad's a
that's
poker
Brad-
coaching.
Oh, that's
is a
Brad
poker
Wilson.
Coaching coach.
that's right. That wasn't Bart's. Oh yeah, So everybody, Brad Wilson has a subscription you can get for free and hear from Brad Wilson, my favorite coach for cash. And he'll give you the Nuffle strategy for free. So go do that. ChasingPokerGreatness.com. Become one of his wolves. Is that what
But yeah, so
called, the wolves?
we're calling here, right?
Yeah,
I am.
Yeah.
Slam dunk.
Like no reason to raise.
No.
No, I don't like raising. I don't like folding either.
Now the question,
interesting.
I just call.
ever not raise here.
I call.
These are the full house cards you were looking for.
Yeah, these are the boats that your opponent has
This is your
full of
opponent.
his range. Or his range is
Oh.
full of these boats.
I mean, so the one question about a raise is, what are you targeting to call? And the answer is trips.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're targeting trips and 9x, which you block. And, which
And
you
I
chop
guess
with.
we don't have to be scared. We're not supposed to be scared of the boat. Solver tells us we're not supposed to be scared of the boat here.
Oh, I am definitely raising my eyebrows at possible boats here.
Okay.
I
so
don't. I do not see any reason to raise.
Here's where I'm going to disagree. So normally don't look at monsters under the bed, right? I totally agree. But the thing that you said was we're not targeting jacks for a call. We're targeting 10x. If that's true, now let's look at 10x that is not a boat.
There's 2 10s on the board though. How likely is he to have a 10 here?
Well, he's got something. He's triple barreled.
Right. But Derek, remember, I'm sorry, that was king. No,
That was me.
that was
King.
king as well. Yeah.
King.
Yeah, king. Yes, it is unlikely, but we're now highly filtered. And remember, when he's bluffs, if he's got a bluff, if he's got a 7, if he's got an 8, if he's got pocket 6s, our raise accomplishes almost nothing because he's almost always going to fold them.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
So,
I agree.
so we're looking at when we raise, we're saying when we raise that we get called by what are we getting called by? That's our question.
Like queen 10 is the only
Right.
thing I can think of.
Right. Exactly. So when you say we're going to get called by 10x, I want to say, now look at the 10x that isn't a boat that got here because he doesn't have deuce 10.
No.
So
he's not
eight-
going to have a 10x. It's extremely unlikely just
10?
as a term of card removal.
No, his filtered range has 10s in it. His filtered range is after we raise what he doesn't fold. So his filtered range is all 10s.
I
After
guess.
our-
Okay, so I was thinking it was a lot of 9s, but I guess we're blocking those 9s too. Like it was a lot of
that's
draws, a
fine.
lot of 8x.
But stop for a second. The 9s don't matter. We split with the 9s. We make no profit from the 9s. I'm not saying whether we call it. We're deciding whether to call or raise. There are no folds here for us.
No, obviously.
All of his bluffs, he has 0 bluffs, 0, because we are raising him. So we are done with his bluffs.
Yeah, okay.
He's calling us with 10x. I know he doesn't have a lot of 10x to start with, but when he calls us, he has a lot of 10x. 10x is a large part of his calling range. He's calling us with 10x. He's calling us with 9x. 9 is irrelevant because we make no money. 9's the same as bluffs. They are null. That leaves him with more 10x. So now we're going to look at what he'll call us with. We're going to make the giant assumptions. And remember, I'm going to talk now in specifics about generalities, meaning when he does this 80% of the time or 70% of the time, I'm going to call it 100% to make it simple. So
Yeah.
he folds all his 7s. Yes. He folds all his 8s. Yes. Does he call any jacks? We're going to talk about that in a second. Now, but let's go first with his 10x. He calls all his 10x. We got that. Of the 10x he calls, which is a large part of his filtered range that calls. Now I'm done with that conversation. Let's look at it.
No.
Ace
Yeah,
10.
no.
Okay, right. Ace 10 we beat. Good. King 10 and queen 10 we beat. Jack 10 we lose. 10-9 doesn't matter. 10-8 we lose.
Yeah, okay. So when
Seven.
you match up the combos here, okay, pair up the combos. Combos you're beating, combos you lose to, and then combos you chop with. When you factor in the combos you chop with and bunch them in with combos that you're losing to, you're at a disadvantage here. Like you are winning less often. That makes the argument to just call and not
Right. That's what we're
raise.
getting to. That's exactly where we're going, which is to the
Okay.
people who said jam and get called by 10x. I want to challenge them and say, how much 10x are we beating? And he doesn't have much 10-7, but he doesn't have any 10-6, 10-5, 10-4, 10-3, 10-2. So
No.
I'm feeling so good about trying to get called by 10x now. I am not feeling so great about the raise because of that.
Yeah, it is a
All right, I can see
slam
your
dunk
argument.
call in
And now-
my mind,
right,
like
now the people
slam
who
dunk
disagree
call.
with- right, now, having said all that, that extended rant that I just made, people who agree with the, who want to jam here, make your argument against me.
I don't know what I do here. However, like I said, I kind of put small blinds that call, I give them more closer to a big blind type range. So with that in mind, the ace 10, king 10, queen 10s of the world of fish that donk as well, I think you can include the unsuited variety in that, which gives
Yeah,
it
I agree.
a much bigger grouping of 10x.
That's
Yeah,
fair.
agreed.
That's fair.
Okay,
Yep.
my question, I just so I get to your logic, because you're saying that his ace 10, king 10, maybe queen 10 are offsuit, but his 10-9, 10-8, jack 10 are suited.
I
Is that
would, yeah,
what you're
probably
saying?
say that's probably more,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay,
probably
and-
accurate,
and
I
that,
think.
that's a really, really good argument for the jam. Okay, I like that.
I don't
Okay,
know what I do here.
on.
What?
Go on. I think that's really clear.
Okay, good. I just called.
Yeah. There's an argument for it. It just seems unnecessarily reckless in my mind when those boats are possible, when they're out there. Like, why are you just offering so much more than you need to be?
Doesn't matter.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, the one thing we didn't talk about is sizing tells on river. Can we go back to his river sizing?
What did he use? 50%?
B75.
Okay. I always keep my calculator
right,
open
no.
and I'll punch in their sizing. If it's ever exactly 50%, exactly 66%, exactly 33%, exactly 75%, those are much more likely to be
Yeah,
bluffs.
I think, yeah, it's a little bit bigger than B75, but it's pretty close.
Here, I'm punching it in 2288. Yeah, no, it's like 71%. No, I'd be less inclined to think that that's a sizing tell.
Yeah, I think against half pot, I'm more likely to raise.
I
Against
agree.
this size,
It's that half pot specifically. That's such a tell.
and I
Bluff
mean,
tell.
Scotty's got a good point. I mean, all the 8 and the jack do connect to the 10. So that's true too.
But Mike's argument is really, really good. If you give him the ace 10, king 10, queen 10 offsuit and the jack 10, 10-9, 10-8 suited.
Yeah, what does GTO
That'll-
frequency look like here for that river node?
He never gets here. This doesn't exist in GTO. He
Yeah,
has no,
we're
on this-
off. We're in the wild.
he has no donks on this board and his small blind calling range is.
Oh, okay,
so thin
okay. Thought
as
maybe
you-
you'd have a percent or two in there for us to look at.
Oh, you could take a look, but he's got.
Yeah,
no-
this doesn't happen. I already looked at the flop. There are 0 donks.
Oh,
Okay, okay,
Harry,
fair
did you-
enough.
did you bring up,
fair
did you
enough.
look at the aggregate report and see if the big blind, where the big blind has donks on paired boards, does he even get, are there any paired board big blind gets? Big blind, not small blind, because we're
We
giving.
can look at, you wanna look at that?
Yeah, I
It
would-
must be low. I think there's some on low boards. Paired 4s, paired 5s, paired 6s, paired
that's all
7s.
I would say, Yeah,
So your question is paired boards donking, right?
yeah.
Yeah, out of position, big blind.
Okay,
I'd
hold on.
like to say that my fold on the flop here was pretty darn wrong.
Yeah.
on this hand, Scotty?
Yes, that my fold on the flop was embarrassingly wrong.
Yeah, you're ahead of so much of his range.
I'm ahead of the 3-4 of clubs, that's for sure.
Alright, so do you wanna look at this real quick?
Yeah, put it up there.
Okay. Alright, so across all flops, in theory, we dunk 7%,
Okay.
but let's go look at paired boards.
Oh, that's all flop. My mistake.
That's all flops.
Thought that was our flop.
We got them. We got some donks.
Okay, so this is our paired board donks. And,
This is
With
queen
their-
10-7.
oh, why is 9-5-3 there? Oh, no, make it all paired boards. Filter.
Clear paired filter.
Yeah.
I don't,
It's because that's 9-5-5, because I can't read. Okay.
yeah, this is.
Oh,
paired
we're
boards.
looking at aggregate report. Oh God, I'm an
This is
idiot
great.
sometimes.
This is
I'm
great.
sorry.
Okay, good. Yeah,
I'm dumb.
Fives. Sevens, five,
It seems
sevens.
to kind of like decrease linearly with the high card.
Yeah, and I think once you start getting into
Well, it
10 high,
is.
it's gonna
We can see it.
disappear. But Larry, they're gonna be, what about versus a low jack raise?
I have the same, I think I have the same limitations you do, which is I have only two ag reports.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, so it's gonna be worse against the low jack raise. He's gonna have less.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's gonna have.
But yeah, he's got donks on these low paired, what he's got is he's got donks on low paired boards with a low card, with no high card.
We can
I
compare
thought
it
low
to
jack
YouTube.
big blind was one of those nodes we could look.
Oh, we got UTG plus big blind? That's great. That's what we need.
And then this is still filtered, so he has more donks. This, I
Yeah.
think this is really common because
Yeah, this makes
UTG's
perfect
range
sense.
is condensed and just hits these boards less.
And you see, this is what I thought. I'm looking at these boards too, and these are the boards that I'm looking at candidates for check raise. And when I'm out of position, when I'm big blind, I kind of mix between check raising and donking when I'm on these low paired boards. And it's about this frequency.
Not clear yet. Give us the next screen. Move over.
Okay, sorry, I just wanted to see, total is 15% here.
Yeah, and low jack, when you're big blind versus low jack, there's considerably more donking than it is versus a big blind or a button.
Because
donk.
it's
Yeah,
different
which
to
makes
the-
sense. That low jack RFI range is just much tighter. And
Scotty, you
keep-
just wanted to kind of look at the other
Yeah, keep
donking
going.
boards.
It's up to nines, still there with nines. It's robust there, but no high card, not a single high. You can't go 9 ace or something like that.
No, we
where do
don't.
we get to the
Two.
paired tens? Paired tens looks pretty low.
Yeah, it doesn't like paired tens.
No. Yeah, no, it goes way, way, way down by the time we ever see any
We haven't
paired
hit a 10. We
tens.
haven't hit a paired 10 yet.
Yeah,
We're
you're
still
right.
We're still it's allowing the 10 to be big. Now we can get an ace.
So I'm
And-
definitely considering tens to be lower than they actually are in the deck. I'm thinking of tens to be more like sevens or eights, but they're actually closer to like jacks, obviously. So, you know what I mean? Kind
So
of
those
treating
are
tens like
10
they're a
high
middling
boards.
card, but they're kind of more of a high card.
So a little bit with 10-8-8, but not much.
And on the 10-10,
And 10-10, it's like nothing.
and all
Okay,
the
fair
10-10,
enough.
yeah, 10-10s, you just never do it.
I'm proven wrong in solver. Fair
Give us
enough.
give us the nines. Give us the high nines also, just for fun. See how.
No, it's good to look at this. Gives me a refresher for my
Yep.
how I'm
And
applying the theory.
Deuces and threes being the exception.
Yeah.
So 4s, 5s, 6s are the pair we like. Deuces and threes don't exist, is the idea there again.
So tens are the cutoff where it goes down significantly.
Because we've got
Okay.
996 and 995 and 998 at a reasonable frequency, but 10s we just don't have.
That makes sense. I can get on board with all of this.
And again, not even a single large card with any large card, because when we did it just at the pairs before you made it, the 9 high boards, they weren't there.
Yeah,
So you-
yeah, if there's any Broadway cards, we just don't.
Yeah, you're just done. Okay,
Nice. No, that's really good to look at. That's helpful for
Right.
me.
cool. Should we do, how much longer you guys want to go? We've done 3:15 so far. You want to do a couple more hands or just be done here?
We can do more. Doesn't matter to me. Whatever you guys want.
Yeah.
I had a late start though, so whatever you guys want.
Let's do 3 more. Let's do 3 more of Mike's hands and then be done.
Okay.
And nobody else has hands in particular, right?
I have a
Yeah.
hand.
Come on,
Okay.
let's
Yeah,
do
I
it.
had one pulled up, but
Oh, you do?
it's-
Okay. One
We can
king-
do it next
one-
week too.
One king, one Mike, one Larry. How's that sound?
That's fair.
Sure.
All right. Okay, whoever grabs the screen first goes first.
Well adjudicated, alpha. Okay,
spelt
I'm gonna
it.
grab it here.
I split the deck in half and see who loves it more.
Oh yeah, this is a big fold I made. Let me just see if I can find it. Not this one. Not this one. Yeah, this one. All right. This is a fold. So this guy here,
Yeah.
he was the fish I was talking about before on a different table.
Okay.
Which you'll see because I think he flats here. He flats here. Interesting flop multi-way, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, no shit, you're telling us you're folding so far.
Yes,
Holy God,
I kind of gave away the ghost.
this is amazing. Okay,
So, okay, so
I
the
think
first
that-
I
question
like the
is,
check. I like it.
what are you guys doing on flop? 4 ways with this
I
hand.
like a check.
some checks, some bet.
Yeah, we
It's
get to bet here a
not-
little
not
bit.
Check, not 100% check. Because
I
we
think-
did, remember? We saw in our multi-way solves that we have some, that the initial player is simplified to check range.
I think one key thing here, button only has 7 big blinds behind and big blind is only 26.
That's a very good point. That's a
Oh,
very good
yeah,
point.
that's-
So,
yeah,
no,
just
it's almost like we have position at this point.
Yeah, we don't care what he does. So in position, we
It
would bet
looks like 100% bad.
100% bet now. Yeah. I didn't
Alright.
see the 7 big blinds, 100%.
Okay, so we choose to
Oh.
check, but I totally get that
Here's my support for your check. Boy, is this 7 big blinds just incentivized to just throw it in with whatever he has going. There's only 2 cards out there. Maybe
yeah,
I'll,
which he does. Well, he
Yeah,
kind of does.
What is
Right.
that?
that's great. That's
Good
perfect.
grief.
Great.
So I'm not super motivated to raise here. Maybe that's a mistake. What are you guys doing here?
Raised to
I
8.
call. I like to
Raised
call.
to 8.
So we kind of have almost locked up equity. Certainly there's stuff that beats us.
I kind of like
The
the min
rainbow
click too.
board, and we're playing in position. We are kind of deep against this guy, so. We on SPR 6 right now.
Probably are deep enough to raise. And I
I
kind of
think
like
that's
that min click
probably in
sizing.
theory is, I mean, who knows in
I
theory
wanna-
along the way, but
Hold on for a second though, before you move to the next step, let's think about what's gonna happen on the turn when we just call. If player 5506, he's not particularly incentivized to throw in his last 3 after 2 calls. He's only gonna do it with hands. He could,
Oh, he's not leaving himself 3 big blinds
right,
behind.
so if he
There's
throws
no
it
way.
in, if he throws it in, then player 5345 has to call 3 with anything, with any draw. He's gotta
Yeah.
call, and then we can raise and we get his extra 3 in. That's what we get from
Yeah.
raise.
Yeah, yeah,
We
yeah.
do it now. What is, if we do it now, can he fold his draws? Yeah, he can. Okay, so I'm fine with a call. I just wanted to look ahead to there.
I mean, the one argument for against calling is that, there are straight draws here, obviously, but, it's a rainbow board. This, we only really care about player 5345.
Yeah.
So,
Imagine you were, if we were heads up here, that would imply, but we would always raise this. We'd always raise against his bet, but he didn't bet, he called. Okay, I'm done with my thought process.
so we choose to call.
Kind of a weird spot.
So we get a check. This guy doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah.
I think we're always betting. I'm sure I bet here. Yeah, I think I'm always betting here. I think
I
this
agree.
size is fine.
But now if you're betting there, why didn't we not check raise? What's the reason if we know we're betting the turn?
Well, we're in position, right? So it's not a check raise. On flop, it's a raise in position.
Yeah, player 5345 had an opportunity to bet flop as well.
And
Or
so
sorry, bet turn. I mean,
the argument against it is that, we are allowing him an opportunity to dunk, which we like.
Okay,
And, just playing in position allows us to realize our equity more fully, if you would,
okay,
because
So
we
the-
always have the less bet. So that's
the
the argument for
reason-
not raising in position.
gotcha. So the reason we didn't raise the flop, but we bet the turn is we were giving him an opportunity to bet the flop.
We were giving him an opportunity actually to, I guess, really to donk the turn.
Yeah, man, I said,
that was my thinking.
that's what I meant. Yes. Okay. Now I'm on board. We're giving him the opportunity to now lead out. It's not so much a donk because this other guy's only got 3 big blinds.
Yeah.
It's
yeah,
also not irrelevant that you're holding the ace of diamonds here,
yeah, that's important. That's a good
Okay.
point.
Okay.
So
which I think makes your sizing like
you-
spot on perfect in my
Once he
mind.
checks, we bet.
we
Great.
bet. Okay,
I
whatever,
love
doesn't
that
matter.
sizing.
He calls.
Perfect.
Now this is where it gets interesting, right?
Yeah.
So we got. So let's ignore player 5506, doesn't matter anymore. We got, 56 big blinds in. And he makes this one big blind
Yeah, he's got a 10, queen 10.
So we should treat this in general like a check.
See, I treat this like he's got a 10 and he just wants to see a cheap showdown. I want to raise this up to get value out of my jack, but
Yeah.
he's going to be folding versus a significant raise. I think I bump it up to 10 big blinds here and queen 10 calls.
So we
All
get
right.
the best jack
Correct.
and we want him to have other jacks other
Yeah.
than a boat, obviously. So so the argument for a bigger bet is that yes, we do target a larger portion of his range with a in position raise to 10. However, in the long term, if we play this situation 100 times, we're going to make more money with a bigger bet, targeting a smaller portion of his range to call a much larger bet.
Does that actually hold up in practice though? Like, does he actually turn up with a jack enough here to realize that?
Yes.
I don't think he does.
Well,
No,
you
no,
know,
wait a
I mean, that's what the coaches are telling us. I don't know. I mean, I
Okay.
assume that they're
Well,
smarter
coaches
than
know
me.
better than I do, so that's why
Yeah.
I'm asking.
I mean, really what we want to do is in cash when we're this deep, right? Our SPR is 2.5. We really want to target the very top of his range to pay off a much bigger bet than
Yeah.
than
See,
a
top of
smaller.
his range here to me is 10x, maybe his weakest king X, maybe some king 9 nonsense, some king 6 suited nonsense.
Yeah, and
Um,
and you
I
know,
want to say one thing, Larry. We don't want the top of his range.
yes,
We lose to the top of his range.
well put, well put, well put.
All right.
do you think he has a jack here? I don't ever give him credit for a jack in this spot.
I don't think
ever.
a jack plays like this ever. No.
Queen 10 is my
We'll
guess.
find out if a boat plays this way.
Okay, so that's why I chose. So the pot's 57. I chose to go to essentially
44.
75% of pot.
Could be
And
10-9
then-
as well.
Jams.
So we've got 61 behind, and then, ladies and gentlemen,
He jams.
Oh,
and
shit.
this was an insta jam, right?
Oh, what a nightmare.
This was
sucks.
not a I'm gonna go into time bank jam. This is a insta jam.
Bro, these spots.
An insta I got you jam.
Yeah. I hate
Uh,
this.
And
Queen
so
9.
Ace queen with the queen of diamonds.
Yeah.
yeah, so you
Queen
got straights
9,
here.
Queen 9
Ace,
diamonds.
king diamonds, good one.
King
I
jack.
think you fold. I think it's a fold. It sucks. I think you fold.
Jack 10 jack. 10
He
jack.
has Jack 10 too. Absolutely. That's in there. Yeah,
Played
I
it.
think you fold.
One of
It
you guys got it
sucks.
right. King, do you want to guess? Well, we already said one got it right. So do you think Scotty got it right or do you think Mike got it right?
Oh, definitely I got it right because I said more things.
So I've learned an important lesson about my stationing tendencies here. I easily folded this, and what I said to myself in my head was, well, I'm gonna know what he has because this guy is all in. And it made it easier for me to fold, which
Pretty clear fold to me.
which
Easy fold.
is important for me because it makes me realize that sometimes I station out of curiosity and I've got to figure out how to stop doing that.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't be a hero. Just keep that in mind. Write that on your
So
wall.
I folded and he made this play
Jack
with the
10.
flop boat.
Nice. Good fold. Great fold.
Crazy hand.
Bet
Excellent
small
fold.
to induce. Bet tiny to induce.
That is not a play you're going to see very often.
No.
All right.
No,
And-
and that, okay, you know, and it's going to be like 1 out of 10 times that tiny blocker looking bet is actually to induce like it was there. Like 90% of the time, that's going to be a queen 10,
Yeah.
something like that.
Okay, we're gonna go to King's next hand, then we'll end with Mike's hand. And Larry, keep that hand up in your database. We're gonna show that again next time Derek is here. Because
Yeah, that was
that's
a really interesting one.
that is exactly the conversation about sizing.
Well,
The way
okay.
you know, that your raise reopened it.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah, good
would
point.
raise to 2, that would be terrible.
Ah, I see your point. Yeah. Okay. I will do that.
Yeah, at least there you had money to win. Okay, you're up, King.
Okay, you guys can see pocket sixes.
Yep, pocket sixes.
Okay, we're in the hijack. I make a standard raise. That's my standard sizing, 3.1.
Okay.
So we get like a min clicky 3-bet here from the small blind. And I just call.
Right.
I think we went over this today. There's no reason to four bet
love-
here, right? That's not in
Yep.
there.
I love it.
7-4-4. We hold 6 of diamonds. There's 2 diamonds on board. He
have not lost.
continues
Yep.
half pot.
Got a call.
Pretty slam dunk call, right?
See?
Okay. Interesting turn.
Yep. That's going to cost us some money. Oh, it doesn't. Great.
So he checks. I don't remember what I did here. I know I will check sometimes. I know I bet a lot of the time, probably majority bet. Yeah, I bet kind of large. I'm wondering.
Yeah, I love a bet here.
Simple theory says this is a call, not this is a check behind. You're
Yeah,
playing-
okay. I was wondering
Hmm.
check frequency here because I'm looking at this bet and this seems kind of a little reckless and wonky, and I kind of just have enough equity just to check.
Yeah,
check
no, I
here.
like a small bet. I like a third.
Yeah. Okay. I don't like my sizing here. I think this is a bad sizing. So, especially with his SPR or what he has behind, I should say.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. So definitely check. So I made a mistake there. And then we get the double paired board. And he checks. He has less than SPR 1.0.
Check back.
Check back.
Yeah,
Okay.
check back now.
Okay. Okay. I did the same. Okay.
Good. So here's the thing that I see in this hand, which is you start with the simplified theory, which is you can't fold your 6s there. You haven't lost enough money yet.
Okay.
When you get the 5, that's great. And
Yep.
you say, how do I describe my hand? My hand is now a up and down straight draw.
Yep.
And a pair, second pair. So it is both marginally made and a draw.
Yep. Yep. Perfect.
Which is more controlling in a hand where you are both marginally made and a draw?
Oh,
this-
makes the argument for a check. I hate this bet. All right. Sorry. Interrupted.
So we start with that and we just go, so in the first base theory, non-solver, Jonathan Little lessons, this is a clear check back.
Yep.
So now we have to get an argument as to why we want to violate that. All right.
Yeah.
Argument 1. It is a vulnerable marginally made hand, meaning the next card rarely helps it.
Sure.
Next card is often bigger than an 8, and that is bad for it. So we take that argument. We look at the fact that that this board misses his range, and everything we bet here denies a lot of equity to him.
Mm-hmm,
He has all overcards to this.
Yep. Yep.
Okay. So now you
Absolutely.
got to think, does he play his overpairs as a check here? And I would say yes. Which
Yeah.
means
Out of position. Absolutely.
now,
100%.
right now, one other thing about it. So you make the decision, you go, mostly I'm going to check this. Those 2 reasons make it even more of a check. But you go, I want to deny equity to the bigger hand, to the ace king and stuff like that. Ace king, king queen, king 10, all that stuff. I want to deny equity to.
Yep. We'll pretend that was my reasoning here. Sure.
Right. You don't need to bet this big for that.
True.
This big should get all of that to fold. I mean, all of that should fold to a smaller bet. Now it didn't. That was his mistake.
Yeah. But like a third should get the same job done, right?
Should.
Like
of
30%.
When you say, I'm not trying to get any pairs to fold, I'm just trying to get overcards to fold because I would like to deny them equity. Over
Yeah.
pairs that have very little equity to start with, you don't need to bet this big.
Sure.
But none of his pairs fold to this, and they're all beating you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's why I think this is, I like it as a check. Now, I was wrong. He called you with this.
But
so-
that should be a fold versus that sizing. Ace king in my mind should call maybe up to 7 or 8 big
Right.
blinds, maybe 7.5. Anything larger, they should fold.
Right. So you exploited him perfectly. And I think,
Okay.
and most of us think that the turn should be a check. Your river check, I think, was absolutely spot on, right?
Yeah.
I was
Okay.
I was fully on board with a small bet on the turn as opposed to check.
Okay. In reality, I fell ass backwards into exploiting him perfectly, but I will take it. So
Okay. So now with exploiting him perfectly, what about betting the river and doesn't an ace have to do some calling? Let's say he has the ace of diamonds. Let's say he has ace X of diamonds and he got here.
the
On a double paired board, doesn't he have to do a lot of calling ace high?
double paired boards where I'm betting into one of the blinds when he has less than SPR 1.0, I will not find that play. I
I think
simply will not. It's
Maybe
just
specifically with ace king high, he needs to call. But once you start getting down, well, I guess it doesn't matter,
What?
right?
What does he care if it's ace king or ace?
he's
Yeah.
still got all the 4x though. It's just way too easy for him to show up with any 4x and his weaker 5x versus that sizing. I
Check it.
I don't think he
Could
can
have
bet.
checked an ace five. He could easily have checked an ace five there. He went from a bluff to marginally made.
Yeah. No, I don't think there's any argument to bet on this
Okay.
double paired board.
Good
I will
enough.
strongly argue against
My
that.
first, my first instinct was absolutely a check. Just looking at, wait a minute, if you can call ace high. Moving on.
Sure,
right.
sure.
Cool.
Cool, sweet. Give me a second here. There we go.
So while you get the board up, Mike, I think our synopsis is that on the turn, some of us prefer a bet, some of us prefer a check, but nobody prefers a large bet. And
For
everybody,
sure.
right?
For sure. Yeah.
Against this particular player on this particular day, we were all wrong and king played perfectly.
Yep.
Yep, okay. Last hand.
I will take it, even though that's not what happened, but sure.
It's a win.
Scotty, is it me?
I'll
Yeah,
take the win.
You're up, last hand.
I appreciate your sympathies and
No, it's sympathy,
All right,
accuracy.
we got a broken stack limper. Tens are gonna ISO every time. And we get a flat from the big blind and the limper.
All right.
We get kind of a shit flop for our hand.
Yep.
Certainly.
I love the 10 of clubs.
It's nice having position.
Mm-hmm.
your EP
I
with
think
an
you
ace
could
on the
win
board.
this.
I bet pure.
You're betting here?
I bet pure 100%.
Yeah,
I think
I
in
would-
position you
if
can
it was
bet.
heads up, I would be checking checking occasionally.
Maybe
Yeah,
a
I
little
might
bit.
be a little bit too aggressive when I ISO. And it's multi-way. I tend to lean towards betting in a pot where I've ISO'd. And I essentially have two capped ranges,
I agree.
but that I would argue multi-way, I might be a little bit too aggro.
I'm
Okay.
75% check here. I typed it in, 75% check, 25% bet. And on that bet, it's a small bet.
Yeah, I like the small sizing there. 3 to 4.
Yeah, we're definitely betting small. I know that if I was heads up against the big blind, this would be a pretty frequent check.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And the fact that we get that limper, early position limper. Yeah, it's tough. We're really deep against the big blind. I don't want to start building big pots.
I'm betting that close to pure versus the big blind on a heads up
Boy,
pot.
boy, with your club, you can, it would, the next card you might not hate the next card. Normally with tens, you always hate the next card. So yeah, I love the check here.
Yeah, Mike, I see your point about the deep stacks.
I love this.
It's very difficult for me not to bet an ace high board when I'm in early position.
I
or
wasn't
if
really
I-
thinking about that.
But that big blind called an ISO-sized raise.
That's true. That's
He's got
true.
Aces in, he's got some suited aces sitting over there. And the initial limper is who cares?
All right, bit checked to us in position now with the.
As this is played, I think he can check.
I think
I-
you can bet or check here. I think now you have permission to bet clearly.
Yeah, I think you start betting now.
Second pair, you can
Yeah.
get value from a 9, you can get value from a single club.
Actually, yeah, you don't want to let a jack or a queen or a king peel on river. Yeah, no, you want to bet for protection here. I'd be thinking protection and also to some degree for value, but mostly for protection. So yeah, I
Unfortunately-
prefer a bet.
Unfortunately, DTO says your bet size is 14 here. Does this hand want to bet 14? I mean, feel free to deviate from DTO, but
I think
I'd be
I
going
remember-
like
I
about
remember considering that. I remember considering that.
5.5. I'm going larger than third, but not quite a half. I'm going like 43% pot approximately.
It's funny you mentioned that, Scotty, because I remember this hand, and I think I remember thinking DTO would pot this, and I'm like, holy shit, I don't want to pot this right now.
Yeah, no, you're right.
so like that. All right.
Yay?
Maybe, yay.
All right, yay, but
Maybe,
you're gonna call it.
yeah. Easy call. Never raising.
Yeah.
I'm never raising. Just way, way, way too easy for him to show up with the jack of clubs or the queen
You're
of
probably,
clubs.
yeah, you probably lose. but you
Yeah,
don't
I'm
have,
not raising, but do you think this is an easy call? That's what I was thinking about this overbet.
Yeah, I think you have
overbets,
to.
overbets are heavy in value. I've got it,
Mandatory call.
but
Ace nine without
that's
a
why you
club.
like the club.
Ace
No, I
nine
don't-
without a club, pocket
No, I don't think he's
deuces.
I don't think he's betting any of those. I think that he's betting a club or nothing. I think this is a bluff or nothing. And I think that this is rarely a bluff, but I don't have to win more than rarely.
Probably, and he's probably not betting a club weaker than a jack. He's not betting the nine of clubs. So yeah, no, you
Bet-
probably
yeah,
do
I have
lose.
to. Yeah, but I have to win 1/3 of the time to make a profit.
Mandatory call. That's
That's what I think.
mandatory call. For
Ah,
sure.
got it. I folded.
Wow.
And this,
Here was his stats, by the way.
Yeah,
Very
stats
loose.
we're gonna lean, so two things should lean you towards a call. One, well,
43.
three. One, he's in the big blind. Two, his stats. And three, the action, which went check, 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 check. All three of those should point you towards a call.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay, so you are right for the action, but I look at his stats and I'm more inclined to fold because I'm thinking if he's this wide, that is just that many more combos of Jack X with the Jack of clubs and Queen X with the Queen of clubs that he can show up with.
Well, yes, but he also with that is gonna have a requisite amount of track, right?
Yep, but I'm gonna-
Especially
Okay.
in the big blind.
Yep,
So as
I'm
you
on-
expand his range with the club, I guess it also has to expand without the clubs. Just
Yeah,
as a function
expand
of
everything
combos.
else.
Okay. That makes sense. I got
Yes,
Do
it.
but
they
I'm
make
still,
these
I'm still on
big-
team king.
These big bluffs out of position like this? In position, I get it.
I'm on team king on this one about, when you said his looseness, that his stats lead us more to a fold, and here's why. Yes, he's got all that V pipping in there. Look at his PR. That's 6. Look at his 3-bet. That's 0. Is that a
Yeah.
bluff?
No.
Yeah, but I'm gonna make respectfully the argument that we just don't have a big enough sample size to worry about 3-bet.
Okay. We have
Well,
a big enough sample size to worry about PR, though.
I start
Yes,
looking at the
this
stats
is a
at,
this is
at
a loose
54
passive
hands.
player.
This is a loose passive player, and to loose passive players under bluff or over bluff when they overbet. They under bluff.
Definitely.
And all you have to do is be one paired under bluff for the exploit to be folding all the time. Arguing against my before saying you only have to be right 1/3 of the time. Now that
But
I've
f-
seen, I'm on team king and I'm gonna fold.
I'm on
know.
team station.
Go
Yeah.
team.
Yeah, 54 hands is not 7 hands also. Like you can take info out of if he's 43 VPEP over 54
that.
hands, no
Okay.
3-betting.
Yeah,
we
so
go.
he's overvaluing his flush here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he should not be making that bet.
Cause I don't
Definitely
think
should
he
not.
thought he was bluffing.
Yeah, this is an overvalue mistake. This is what Peter Clark calls a polarization error.
That makes sense.
Okay,
Is he supposed to be betting his pocket 3s or pocket 5s with the club? The
No.
weaker flushes? No.
no, those are perfectly good. Why bluff with the best hand?
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Call them. I mean, unless of course we're gonna fold the 10 of clubs. So there you go.
Yeah. Okay.
To a
Then he's
normal size
effectively
bet.
turning his weak flush into a bluff, which is kind of pointless. Okay.
And to a normal size bet, I'm calling all day long. Like maybe even to like pot and under.
Yeah, I can understand that the overbet is spooky,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can see it. I can see it for sure.
but I just think you're too far up in range.
Yeah.
You know what? That's a good candidate for a randomizer.
And
Good candidate to roll and live with the result.
Guys,
Nothing-
I don't think 4.5 hours is long enough to hang out and talk poker with you guys.
okay, see you guys next week.
True.
Should we
Bye.
go? Should we go for 8?
Bye.
Later, guys. See ya.
Later.